If you want to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. A Columbus man accused of taking the life of a 13-year-old boy in the Hilltop neighborhood made his first court appearance Friday morning. Craig Allen Butler, Sr., age 36, was arraigned in Franklin County Municipal Court for allegedly taking the life of a 13-year-old Seiji Reed in the 800 block of Wedgwood Drive. Butler's arraignment hearing came one day after his arrest and 2 days after the incident that left Reed deceased. On Wednesday, Butler was seen exiting a red truck before the incident. He then got back into his truck and left the scene. Emergency crews took Reed to Ohio Health Doctor Hospital with life-threatening injuries. He was pronounced deceased at around 6:26 p.m. The family of Seiji Reed, a 13-year-old who had his life fatally taken October 12th at the Wedgwood Apartments in Columbus Hilltop neighborhood, want to know why the alleged shooter, a neighbor who legally should not have been able to have a weapon, is walking free. Quote, "A grown man took the life of a child and nobody cares." The Franklin County Prosecutor's Office previously filed a murder charge against Craig A. Butler Sr., age 36, in Franklin County Municipal Court in connection with Senzei's death on the same day as the shooting. But a week later, prosecutors filed to dismiss the case in municipal court on October 19th. Franklin County Municipal Court Judge Mike McAllister accepted the motion and dismissed the case, meaning that the $1 million bond Butler had been held on no longer applied and that Butler was released from jail. Columbus Police Homicide Detective Keith O'Connor stated Thursday that, quote, "There has been a claim of self-defense by Butler and his mother, but declined to comment further since it is an ongoing police investigation. Quote, Senzei's not a bad kid at all. How was a grown man scared of him? He did not deserve to die." Nicole responding to Butler and his mother's claims on social media of self-defense, stating that she does not believe Senzei could have had a weapon. Butler was previously convicted in Franklin County for misdemeanor domestic violence, according to court records, which under federal law would prohibit him from having a weapon. Nicholas and a handful of other people demonstrated Thursday afternoon on the steps outside of Franklin County Municipal Court seeking justice for Senzei and the prosecution of Butler. Quote, "My little brother was 13 and they let his killer out 5 days later. A baby is gone."
Butler didn't make any comments during his court appearance. Police say a witness saw him exit a truck, fire shots at the teen boy named Seiji Reed, and then drive off. The shooting happened 2 days ago at the Wedgwood Village Apartments in the Hilltop. Records show Butler lived at the complex. Police haven't said whether he and the teen knew each other, nor have they confirmed what led to the gunfire. A woman who said she's Butler's sister-in-law told us.
He came to us, he had over bullet holes in his truck. So it's both ways. We don't know who's in fault, but it's both ways. He said he was trying to avoid an incident. He didn't go out the full driveway, he went the other way, and he got ambushed.
Police have made no mention of an ambush nor any other shooter.
So, as we were clearly able to hear, and I want people to pay very close attention to the detail that was not added in any of the articles that I read to you. And I read off 2 articles to you, right? The news anchor basically stated that Butler, right? This is the same guy that was supposedly, defending himself. He was in a vehicle, which means that if anything was taking place the way that he stated it, he could easily leave the situation. He could very easily leave the scene, right? He could just weave in and out through traffic and make sure to get to safety, go directly to the police, and let them specifically know what was happening. They stated that Butler, who was being aimed at, got out of his car, right? This is the supposed guy that was getting aimed at, right? Got out of his car and started firing at the teen and then proceeded to get into his car and drive off. To me, that doesn't sound like somebody who was being aimed at. That is not what that sounds like at all. It sounds like somebody who specifically wanted to do something, right? And then the other thing that I want people to pay attention to understand, right? He already has a charge against him, right? Which means that legally he cannot have a firearm on his person. So for anybody that want to ask, oh, how come you just didn't go to the police? Like, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he just turn? That's why he didn't turn himself in, because he was not supposed to have a weapon at all. He was illegally carrying, because he is not legally able to carry due to the fact of the charges that he already has directly on his record. Notice how the sister didn't want to say nothing about that. She didn't want to go into the fact that he has violent tendencies. Notice how that really wasn't a focus in any of the articles in this, to an extent. They didn't really want to 100% focus on that. They mentioned it, sure, but let's dive directly into it. Who was this against? Why did it take place? How is this person doing at this moment in time? Are they still fearing for their life? Has Butler had any type of contact with this individual? Is there any type of, restraining order or whatnot against him? Right? And does he have a history of violence? Because this to me sounds like he has a history of violence. I'm just saying, like I said, I don't know who the kid is. They can't even, Butler's family can't even specifically state who the kid is. But you saw how the sister tried to all lives matter this. It was like, well, everybody's involved. We can't really say who's at fault. My brother was retaliating, and then supposedly the 13-year-old was also aiming at him. So, everybody's involved. We don't know what took place, but we do know this for certain, that one person is not here. One person is not here, and the other one is. And the one that is here didn't want to turn himself in. The police had to search for him. He's illegally carrying because he already has charges directly on him. He ran from the scene of a crime. Even if he was wrong, right? Just to prove his innocence on him defending himself, why didn't he turn himself in? Why didn't he turn himself in? What else did he specifically have directly on his person or in his car for the reason why it is that he didn't turn himself in? Why didn't the family state that, oh, yeah, I made calls to him, after I found out, after I heard, and I told him, like, yeah, you should turn yourself in. You should do this. You should do. Notice how the sister didn't say none of that. She said that after the incident happened, he came directly there to come see her. What? That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. I'm going directly to the police. I'm like, yo, I just got into this incident. It happened here, 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 and this is everything that took place. That's what I would have done, but obviously somebody got something to hide. Obviously the family does too. Because if I'm to be frank, if I'm to be honest, the sister seems a little bit off. Just going to leave it as that. She seems a little bit off. Can't trust anything anybody is saying. Can't even do it. Because as I stated before, it's literally the words of Butler versus a kid that's in the ground. How you can't even equate that. One person can literally give their side, and it can be anything. They can literally moonshot this and still make it. While the kid has no type of defense. He can't speak for himself. He can't specify everything that took place or why it is that it took place. Like I said, this is this is nonsense right now. And then on top of that, he had $1 million bond. I'm like, all right, $1 million. Yes, he's going to be in there. Prosecution is going to happen. A trial is going to happen. The family's going to get justice. Nah, 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 nah. They was like, oh, you got $1 million bond. You defended yourself against. Oh, this who you defended yourself against? Oh, no problem. Let this man out. He that was self-defense. He defended himself. Let him out. You see this kid? You see this grown man here? This is not a kid. This is a 32-year-old man he defended himself against. That's not a kid. They're showing you old pictures. That kid ain't even 13. He don't even look 13 in my eyes. Realistically, he probably look 23. He looks older than my son, and my son is 25. Right? They like to do stuff like that. So I'm not too surprised that this is what took place and this is what happened. Like I said, my condolences to um, the family. I'm sorry that this took place. I'm sorry that you had to lose a son. I'm sorry that you had to lose a loved one. I'm sorry that you had to lose a brother. This is something that should not have taken place at all. It just shouldn't have. But hopefully, something takes place and you guys get the justice that you guys deserve.